We all like to think of ourselves as one of a kind. But how far would you really want to take that? Because some people on this planet are so rare, so biologically unique, it's hard to believe they are even real. And yet they do. They're just 1 in a billion. Ready to meet a few of them? From men whose bodies stretch like rubber to girls born with Batman-like facial markings, these are 15 people so uncommon, so astonishing, they might just break your sense of what's possible. Number 15, Alima Ali. Alima was just like any other beautiful young girl until a lice treatment changed everything. At 12, she used a medicated lice shampoo that caught fire when she passed by the kitchen stove. Within seconds, her head was engulfed in flames. She suffered third-degree burns across 55% of her body. Her face, stomach, hands, neck, arms, and back were all scorched. She lost 7 fingers. Hundreds of surgeries followed across hospitals in Birmingham, Sheffield, Leeds, and Pinderfields. Now 21, Alima lives in Manningham and is raising £12,000 for facial reconstruction with Dr. Paul Nassif in Beverly Hills. Her nose, she says, is her deepest insecurity. People mock her, calling her a pig. But she fights back with resilience. Today, Alima inspires 250,000 plus followers on TikTok, where she posts makeup tutorials with 3 working fingers. She's studying psychology and dreams of a career in criminal law. Despite daily scar treatments, she refuses to hide. Her GoFundMe stands as her next step toward healing. Number 14, Farah Khalek. Farah from Kenya has been living with scleroderma since she was 19. This rare autoimmune disease causes her skin and connective tissues to harden, changing her appearance and daily life in irreversible ways. At first, Farah struggled with the reflection staring back. She admits she was once afraid to even look in the mirror. Misdiagnoses and social stigma made things worse. But over time, Farah decided not to disappear in a dark room. She opened up online, talking honestly about her condition, her pain, and her process of acceptance. Her videos and posts didn't just educate, they uplifted. Farah's honesty built a growing community of people with rare conditions. Today, she's more than a voice. She's an advocate for beauty beyond norms. She's also planning to launch a foundation to support people facing similar journeys. Farah's strength isn't just in how she endures, it's in how she shows up for others. What started as isolation has now become empowerment, and she's nowhere near finished. So don't always focus on looks. Number 13, Caitlin Dobrow. Caitlin Dobrow was just 18 years old when her world completely changed. In 2013, she was hit by an aggressive case of bacterial meningitis, which is a deadly infection that tore through her body fast. Doctors did everything they could, but the damage was brutal. They had to amputate both her arms and legs. That could have been the end, but not for Caitlin. She didn't let her disability define her. Instead, she leaned into her love for makeup. With custom tools, prosthetic hooks, and a steady dose of patience, Caitlin taught herself how to apply makeup entirely on her own. What started as personal therapy turned into a global wave. She began sharing tutorials on YouTube and Instagram, and her strength grabbed attention. By 2019, she had more than 229,000 YouTube subscribers and over 103,000 Instagram followers. Her message is clear. Beauty isn't about being flawless. It's about guts, expression, and grit. Caitlin Dobrow didn't just bounce back. She became a face of resilience and fearless self-love. She is unique. Number 12, Hunter Steinitz. Hunter Steinitz lives with one of the rarest and most extreme skin conditions in the world, called Harlequin Ichthyosis. Born in 1994, she's one of only a few people in the US with this disorder, which causes her skin to grow about 10 times faster than normal. Her body is covered in thick, plate-like scales that crack, dry out, and cause constant pain. It's a condition that demands a strict daily routine. long baths to soften the skin, followed by generous layers of Vaseline to ease cracking. Raised in Pittsburgh, Hunter didn't just endure bullying, she turned it around. Instead of hiding, she spoke up. She now educates others through public talks, advocacy, and her work with the Foundation for Ichthyosis and related skin types. She's been featured by National Geographic and Inside Edition. With her bright red skin and signature wig, Hunter isn't trying to hide. She's living as herself, fully, boldly, and on her own terms. And that changes everything. Number 11. Zoe Bosanic. Born in DeWitt without arms, Zoe never saw herself as limited. From the beginning, she found her own way, writing, brushing her hair, and even cooking alongside her mom, all using her feet. She tackled each task with focus and determination. But what really set Zoe apart was her love for sports. She picked up baseball, and with nothing but her legs, she learned to swing, pitch, and run, stunning everyone watching. Her coordination was no fluke. She earned that skill. Zoe also explored dance, jumped into karate classes, and never let hesitation stop her. Later, she was paired with a service dog named Mochi, trained to assist with small tasks, but Zoe continued to do most things by herself. Her life isn't a feel-good story. It's a display of raw strength and mindset. Zoe proves every single day that being born different is not a weakness. It's a different kind of power, and she's never stopped showing exactly what that looks like. Number 10. Luna Tavares Fenner. This little girl from Florida was born in 2019 and was known worldwide for the dark birthmark that covered much of her face, a rare condition called giant congenital melanocytic nevus. It gave her a striking appearance like a Batman mask and carried a high risk of skin cancer. Her parents, Caroline and Tiago, spent months consulting top specialists in Boston and New York. Most offered long, harsh treatment plans. Then came a new option, a Russian surgeon, Dr. Pavel Popov, who proposed a gentler path, 6 to 8 surgeries in under 2 years. They flew to Krasnodar, and by 2021, most of Luna's nevus was removed. Seeing her new reflection, Luna beamed. "My black spot is gone. I'm a princess." But the journey wasn't over. Laser treatments caused problems. Her left eye couldn't fully close, risking her vision. Back in Florida, her family sought more help. Through it all, Luna's story became one of perseverance, love, and hope. Number 9. Hirotada Ototake. Hirotada was born on April 6, 1976 in Tokyo with tetra amelia syndrome, a condition where all 4 limbs are absent. But his life was never framed by limitations. Enrolled in mainstream schools, Hirotada was treated like any other student and encouraged to be self-reliant. His breakout came in 1998 when he published his memoir, No One's Perfect, aka Gotai Fumanzoku, a candid account of growing up disabled in Japan, a country where people with visible disabilities were often hidden from view. The book became a cultural milestone, selling over 4 million copies and ranking among the best-selling books in post-war Japan. He later became a sports journalist and, in 2007, a public school teacher in Tokyo's Suginami ward. His life inspired the 2013 film Daijobu, Nobody's Perfect, in which he played himself. In 2018, Hirotada launched a project to walk using advanced prosthetics and raised 17 million yen through crowdfunding. He continues to defy expectations and champion visibility, resilience, and inclusion. Number 8. Model Carmen Smith. This 32-year-old influencer from Pasadena was diagnosed with inherited lymphedema at just 3 years old. Her condition causes chronic swelling in her legs, ankles, and feet due to missing lymph nodes in her lower body. Since childhood, Carmen lived with both physical and emotional weight. She couldn't wear regular shoes. Flip-flops were often her only option, and she'd avoid showing her legs in public. But over time, she decided she wouldn't hide anymore. Carmen started posting openly on Instagram, modeling in swimwear and lingerie, embracing her visible difference. She used hashtags like hashtag lymphedema warrior and hashtag you eat the cake too to build a space of honesty. Her posts show her legs exactly as they are, swollen, real, and unfiltered. With over 48,000 followers, Carmen's not just raising awareness, she's changing conversations. She talks about compression, mental health, and the daily reality of her condition. Her message is simple but powerful. Visibility matters. And beauty isn't about hiding, it's about owning every inch of who you are. So, what do you think about her? Number 7. Gabe Adams Wheatley. Gabe Adams was born in Sao Paulo with Hanhart syndrome, a rare disorder that caused him to be born without arms or legs. Placed for adoption, Gabe was taken in by a Mormon family in Utah, already raising 12 children. From day one, his parents encouraged independence, making sure Gabe learned how to do things on his own. Whether it was climbing stairs, joining his high school dance team, or learning makeup techniques, Gabe never waited for permission to shine. Dance became his passion. Makeup became his canvas. Gabe taught himself by watching beauty tutorials, eventually building a following on TikTok with his creative looks and magnetic energy. One of his makeup videos went viral, cementing him as a force in both the beauty and disability communities. Off-screen, Gabe is a motivational speaker who talks about perseverance, self-expression, and owning your identity. He doesn't just speak on overcoming limits, he lives it. Gabe is proof that expression doesn't require limbs, just a fearless heart. Number 6. Rowdy Burton. Rowdy was born with sacral agenesis that left his lower body underdeveloped. By age 3, both legs had been amputated, but Rowdy didn't slow down, he sped up. Raised in Montgomery, Alabama, he preferred crawling and walking on his hands to using a wheelchair. He embraced movement, energy, and joy, carving out his path without apology. One day, he was introduced to a one-wheel skateboard. Minutes later, he was zipping through the streets with a grin so contagious it went viral. Donations rolled in, and soon Rowdy had his own board and was meeting its creators in California. But his story didn't stop at internet fame. Rowdy built a presence online, creating content that shows the world how bold and fearless living really looks. He shares every ride, every challenge, and every high-speed win, refusing to be boxed in by what others assume. For Rowdy, life isn't about what's missing. It's about the joy you bring into it, on wheels or not. Number 5. Johnny Kennedy. Johnny was born in 1966 in the UK and lived with one of the world's rarest and harshest genetic skin disorders, just like Hunter Steinitz. His skin was thick, dry, and constantly splitting, making even basic movement painful. Covered in large, hardened plates that cracked deeply, Johnny's condition severely limited his mobility and comfort. But his spirit never faltered. Every day, he followed a rigid skincare routine, baths, heavy ointments, layers of moisturizers, to stay functional and prevent infections. Yet what defined Johnny wasn't the pain. It was his resilience. He chose to live with dignity and humor. His story reached millions through the British documentary The Boy Whose Skin Fell Off, which offered a raw, honest look into his daily life. He spoke candidly, with no filters, and turned his rare condition into a tool for awareness. Johnny passed away in 2003, but his legacy still echoes. He didn't just educate people, he gave visible difference a voice. Johnny Kennedy taught the world what real strength looks like. Number 4. Tatiana McFadden. Tatiana McFadden's journey started in a Russian orphanage, born with spina bifida and left without a wheelchair for her first 6 years. She used her arms to move across cold floors. Everything changed when Deborah McFadden adopted her and brought her to the U.S. Deborah saw her strength, not her limits, and introduced her to wheelchair racing. From there, Tatiana's determination soared. She became a Paralympic powerhouse, winning 17 medals, including 7 gold, and setting world records in multiple distances. But her legacy isn't just medals, it's advocacy. Tatiana has fought to ensure equal access for athletes with disabilities in schools and sports. She's testified before Congress, launched inclusion initiatives, and broken countless barriers. Her story isn't built on sympathy, it's built on grit, speed, and fire. Tatiana redefined what it means to win, on and off the track. From orphanage floors to the Olympic podium, her story proves that no obstacle can outrun the will to rise. All right, now, let's move to number 3, Jennifer Bricker Bauer. Jennifer was born in 1987 without legs and was placed for adoption at birth. Raised in Illinois by a family that taught her to never say can't, Jennifer grew up determined to defy every expectation. She got into sports early, excelled as a gymnast, and never once allowed her physical condition to define her. Her childhood idol? Olympic gymnast Dominique Moceanu. At 16, Jennifer learned a truth that shocked the world. Dominique was her biological sister. Their emotional reunion made global headlines. But Jennifer kept soaring. She transitioned from gymnastics to aerial arts and eventually performed alongside Britney Spears during her circus tour. She's also worked with Cirque du Soleil and authored the best-selling memoir, Everything is Possible. As a motivational speaker, she now travels the globe challenging others to break their own barriers. In 2019, she married Austrian musician Dominic Bricker Bauer. In 2023, they welcomed their son Malachi. Jennifer is more than inspiring. She's proof of what belief can build. Number 2, Mama Cax. She was a bold and unforgettable force in fashion who turned hardship into impact. She wasn't just a model, she was a survivor, activist, and visionary. Cax lost her leg as a teenager after a long fight with cancer. But instead of hiding, she stepped forward with unmatched confidence, owning her prosthetic as part of her identity. She became known for strutting runways with flair, modeling for major brands, and appearing on magazine covers with fearless energy. Mama Cax didn't just advocate for body positivity, she lived it. She used her voice to challenge beauty standards, pushing for representation of disabled and marginalized bodies in the fashion world. Her presence was magnetic, her message impossible to ignore. Tragically, she died in 2019, leaving behind a legacy that still breathes. Cax proved that beauty comes in every form, and that strength isn't about perfection. It's about choosing to be seen, boldly, and without apology. Number 1, the man who fears nothing. Jordy Cernick isn't just brave, he's physically incapable of feeling fear. After undergoing 2 surgeries for Cushing's syndrome, his adrenal glands were removed, eliminating his body's ability to produce adrenaline. That means no fight or flight, no anxiety, and no fear. He can leap out of airplanes without the slightest worry. And he does, frequently, to raise money for charity. But it's not as fun as you'd think. Without fear, Jordy says even the wildest roller coasters feel like sitting on a bench. Thrill is something he can't experience. That said, he's far from numb. What Jordy does feel is constant pain. His condition left him with brittle bones and arthritis. And without adrenaline, one of the body's strongest natural painkillers, every ache is amplified. So while fear has vanished, suffering hasn't. Jordy's life is a mix of extremes, no fear, but no relief. Still, he uses his unique condition to do good, and proves that even without adrenaline, you can still push your limits. If you've enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe for more amazing content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.